Well, we've reached the end of the 8-bit Disney Marathon, folks. And we're gonna end this marathon in a big way with the terror that flaps in the night himself, Darkwing Duck. Back in my grade school years in Asia, at first I was ecstatic when I heard my cousins have a cartridge of Mega Man 5 for the NES that I had to watch them play it. But to our surprise, it's actually a hack of Darkwing Duck, with Mega Man replacing the titular character. Yeah, we were misled, but nonetheless we pressed on and give it a go, and when you know it, it's actually quite fun. And it's made even more fun, what with the use of the Mega Man engine, so heck yeah. The Mega Man Classic games have always been fun, and this game delivers in the same fashion. So let's get dangerous! This is my review of Darkwing Duck. Darkwing Duck aired in September 1991 and was developed as a last-minute replacement for the supposedly proposed Rocky and Bullwinkle reboot, as Disney has no ownership rights to the characters. A year after the series finale of DuckTales, Darkwing Duck would enter development, and the show's premise would be inspired by 2 episodes from DuckTales. Those being Double O Duck from Season 1, where Launchpad McQuack fills in as a James Bond-like spy after the real agent has gone rogue, and The Masked Mallard from Season 3, in which Scrooge McDuck would become a superhero, and with those 2 inspirations, Darkwing Duck is created. The show takes place in Duckbird's neighboring city of St. Canard, the town that Darkwing Duck and his sidekick Launchpad McQuack defend. Darkwing's secret identity is Drake Mallard, which both the name and his hero persona are actually a parody of the obscure hero, the Shadow. When not fighting crime, Drake lives in a suburban house with his adopted daughter Goslin, next door to the Muddlefoot family, whose genius son, Honker, would also serve as Drake's occasional brains in some crime cases, and in later episodes would gain allies, such as the organization called Shush, which is a parody of Marvel's S.H.I.E.L.D., although the acronym is unknown. The chief of Shush, J. Gander Hooter, a parody of J. Edgar Hooter, and is also a reboot of a one-off DuckTales character from Season 1. Morgana Macabre, initially a villainous sorceress, later reformed to the light side, and in some episodes, Gizmo Duck from DuckTales would also lend some help. Darkwing Duck is very prideful, but would also come off as a narcissist, as he often struggles to balance his lust for fame rather than swallowing his pride in order to be a good father to Goslin and help do good in the city. Darkwing Duck would also be a parody of Batman in that the show also has its own gallery of rogues, though inspired by both DC and Marvel, such as Bushroot, based off of Poison Ivy, Megavolt, based off of Electro and Shocker from Spider-Man, Quackerjack, based off the Joker, or the organization FOUL, standing for Foreign Organization for World Larceny, and is based off the group Spectre from 007. Even its field commander, Steelbeak, is based off of 007 villain Jaws. The show was just as much a success as DuckTales, that one episode of the DuckTales reboot has the town of St. Canard being referenced, and another episode has Launchpad watching an episode of Darkwing Duck, with Darkwing and Quackerjack still being voiced by their original voice actors. There were talks about a possible show reboot, but sadly the rumors have been debunked, and it would have been great to see the characters back on screen like the DuckTales reboot. The show emphasizes on action rather than adventure, with Darkwing routinely engaging in slapstick fights with the supervillains that Capcom would also make a game out of the show while it's still on the air for 6 more months, and would utilize the popular Mega Man engine. As you boot up the game, a cutscene will show Darkwing Duck making an entrance on screen and does his usual catchphrase, followed by the familiar theme song of the show, which for an 8-bit rendition is actually really cool to hear. When you start the game, Jay Gander reports that crime activity has been increasing throughout St. Canard, and it's up to Darkwing Duck to apprehend the city's criminals. As the game uses the Mega Man engine, you'll be taken to a stage map where you can select which stage you want to take on first. As Darkwing, you can only run, jump, and fire his gas pistol. He can also hang into certain obstacles, hooks, or platforms, as this game has no ladders at all. He also has the ability to raise his cape, which can shield him against smaller shots like throwing daggers. Another worth noting is that unlike Mega Man, touching spikes is not instant death, thank goodness. The game has 3 different special gas shots, but I'll say right now that the only one that matters is the arrow shot, because not only does it do heavy damage on enemies and bosses, but it can also stick to walls temporarily, allowing you to hang on or step on it like a platform to reach some items like these pair of 1-ups, which are very scarce and there's no continues in this game at all, at least to my knowledge. You can only carry just one special gas shot at a time, and grabbing a different shot will override the other. Also, these shots have limited ammunition, with the arrow shot taking 3 points of energy, which you can get by collecting gas containers, with the large ones containing 10 points of energy. The special gas energy caps at 99, and it's best if you know a good spot where you can move back and forth to respawn some enemies in order to grind for some more energy for your arrow shot, because trust me, you'll definitely need it. Some of the enemies can take more than one shot of your pistol, but since the arrow shot costs 3 energy points, it can shave off 3 HP out of any enemy. So it's better just to conserve your energy as much as you can until later stages when much tougher thugs get in the way, especially the robot ducks in the very last stage. Keep in mind that firing a special shot at point blank range will only shave just 1 HP, so practice your aim carefully. In many of these stages, when shooting at random suspicious areas, you'll be taken to a bonus stage to collect items for points, restore HP and gas energy, or rarely find 1-ups, either by shooting canisters on a high-rise, or using your cape to destroy containers and have Launchpad and Goslin catch the items for you. Darkwing's gallery of rogues in the game all have different gimmicks to take down our hero, such as Wolf Dog gaining immunity from the full moon, or Quackerjack fleeing from different floors while having Mr. Banana Brain doing the damage for him, and should you get killed in the boss room, you respawn back for another rematch until you win or get a game over. The game only has 7 bosses, with Megavolt being the most pathetic one as long as you stay on one side and avoid a shot that might rain on you, and you don't need to waste any gas energy on him. Some gimmicks like Moriarty and Steelbeak might give you some trouble, but the good news is that all the bosses only have 16 HP, and arrow shots can take away 3 HP for a faster kill, and whoa! I got killed, but wait, I got Moriarty as well. And that was unexpected. That shot I connected must have helped me cheat death. Let's replay that scene again. Yep, managed to cheat death. Steelbeak is a different story since he is the final boss, and while his stage is really not that bad, apart from the robot ducks, Steelbeak will start sticking UFOs on your face and fire at you, but as soon as you destroy the window, the UFO spawn will cease, and Steelbeak's only defense is shielding himself with a piece of the arena floor, which his weakness is very much noticeable. Once you defeated Steelbeak, he flees the scene, warning Darkwing of his possible revenge for his loss, while Jay Gander congratulates Darkwing on a job well done as he rides away to fade into the night, only to crash onto an obstacle in a comedic fashion, ending the game. It's unfortunate, however, that his evil self, Negaduck, is not in the game. Next to the DuckTales games, Darkwing Duck is also the best game in the Disney Afternoon Collection, and also the most underrated as the game was also made around the late stages of the NES, while the SNES and Genesis were on the rise. Aside from the hanging mechanics and a limited weapon system, Darkwing Duck is Mega Man only with skins from Disney, and its action is just how the show's premise is. Not only do I enjoy the great gameplay, but I also like how the stage design and graphics are just as good as Tailspin, with more detail on the buildings, sky, and forests. And the music is definitely another good highlight, with Quackerjack, Wolf Duck, and Moriarty being my best tracks, but beyond that, they're all reminiscent of classic Mega Man, and I solemnly welcome it. Despite the shortness of the game, Darkwing Duck is one game for the NES that shouldn't be missed. This is when even after Street Fighter 2, the Disney games for the NES also shows Capcom at the top of their game and prove gamers that they can provide some action for the shows that we came to grow up on. This game would get a score of 9. It may be Mega Man with a Disney skin, but this game has the action factor that the show has, and with its solid game engine, this is easy to pick up and play as well. And it's a good thing that it's in this collection because buying the actual cartridge is definitely not a good idea, as sites like eBay or Amazon would ask around $500 for its rarity. So if you only want to play the game, just stick with the collection entirely.
Well, that wraps up the 8-Bit Disney Marathon, folks. And for some of the games that I didn't get to review, like The Little Mermaid and Adventures in the Magic Kingdom for the NES, I'll review those in future videos if by any chance I either have the games or I borrow it from someone else that does. I definitely had a fun time, not only doing this marathon, but also happy, at least for the Disney Afternoon Collection, to relive those old NES memories. And if you have a PS4, Xbox One, or Steam, the collection is there for you to enjoy. It's only $20, and for that price rate, especially with how expensive the DuckTales and Chip 'n Dale sequels are on cartridge, this collection provides you that chance to finally play them. Definitely worth the purchase. I hope you liked this review video, and if you haven't seen my other reviews yet in my marathon, I'll create a playlist to view the marathon in its entirety. Anyway, as always, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, as well as like and follow me on my Facebook page if you haven't done so yet. So, what other future games am I venturing forward to next? Well, just stay tuned and find out for that, folks. Until then, this has been Masashi X. I bid you all farewell, take care, and stay tuned.